Hey folks, how you doing? Back with you. I'd like to talk about, explain how the Father God took over from the goddess. Like, it went from goddess to God. How and why? Okay. Well, at first there was the goddess in the sky. She was a hippopotamus goddess, you see. Female, yeah. And so who put her up there in the first place? Well, humans put the goddess up there, and she was a time teller in the constellation Ursa Major, the Big Bear. Well, she's a hippopotamus goddess, okay? But today they call it the Big Bear, Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper. See? So now, she was, as I said, a time teller. She was the mother goddess of time. Now, this isn't the first time told by the humans. They knew something of time before they put her up there. Okay? But she carried along her side in her left paw or hand a big knife. This knife was for the purpose of sectioning time, giving us the days, the weeks, the months, the years. It's setting time off, you see. And she made a journey around the top of heaven, or the top of the sky, around the pole of heaven. Once a year was her journey around the pole. And so folks could tell time by the star. The tail of the bear, which is the handle of the Big Dipper, of course, as she went around the circle, around the pole, the top of heaven, her tail would point out the seasons of the year, because she went round in a circle. 360 degrees, 360 days in a year. That was the sacred year then. She had a child, and the child's name was Sut, S-U-T. Later he was called Seth. Later he became, well, the devil. And we have to say why. Well, it turns out that the mother goddess, whose name was Apt, A-P-T, was worshipped all over creation, her and her son. They were worshipped everywhere. They were loved by the people. But she made an error in keeping time. And because of this, the soul of God came. And kicked her out of heaven because she made a mistake. She wasn't keeping time correctly, which was a very, very important thing for the ancient folks, as it is today. In fact, today people have become slaves to time. Can you imagine doing something without time? You know, humans can't do it without time today. And so back in those days, they were addicted to time also. They needed time of the year, time for planting, time for harvest. The stars told them that, okay? And the festivals. They kept the festivals by time. They had to know when the festival day was coming. It was very important to them, and it always had something to do with natural events, like the beginning of the year. These were important to folks. So anyway, it so happens that the constellation Ursa Major must slip sometimes a little below the horizon, and you can't see it. Or at least part of it would slip behind the horizon. It would go south to some degree. I wonder how that happened. Well, it had to do with the movement of Earth. It really wasn't her fault. But anyway, because of this, the solar god came on the scene. People felt that, well, it's better to tell time by the sun in the sky, than to tell time by the star, at least that constellation of Ursa Major. So her and her son were kicked out of heaven. And the solar god came to her and said that he was the chief god. He was chief now. He was chief of heaven, as well as time. Once he become the time god as they start telling time by the sun. And so he told her that she was a widow. Well, yeah. Because she had a child, but there was no man involved. She had her child alone. She had both male and female reproductive organs, according to the legend, according to the mythology. Okay, so her time was stellar time. You see, and it was the first time told in the heavens was stellar time. Then there was lunar, then there was solar, but lunar didn't last too long. It would be under the god Tot, or Hermes, or Thot. Lunar time. So anyway, the solar god told her that she had to go, and that he would be second to her. She would be like his wife or concubine. So they were kicked out of heaven. And they were treated very, very badly by the people. Her son Sut was later to become the devil. Or Sut transitions to Seth, or Set, which is the Satan of today. Yeah. They made him a terrible god after being once praised all over the world because they were good, him and his mother. But they got kicked out, and they made Set the devil. Today's Satan. So now Sut had battles for supremacy. Each tried to fight back. And he would fight back with a god Heru, who represented day. So now Sut represented night. So we see there a battle between night and day. even till this day. There is night and day. Well, anyway, the solar god became the supreme god, even to this day. And that's how the mother goddess got kicked out of heaven, her and her son. Okay, folks, that's how the goddess became the god, or how the god took over. Have a good one, and I'll get back with you and we'll talk more about this chief god. Why is he the chief of all the gods? Okay, folks, have a good one, and I'll get back with you soon, and subscribe. Thank you.